court, for example. I'll be able to go to Kitui. I'll be able to go to Kajiado. I'll be able to go to Nyamira. I'll be able to go to Embu, knowing that the people I recruit and are able, not be recruited, but the ones that are recruited, that there is a way for them who cannot afford to be able to get an opportunity. Not coming for recruitment, you've lined up the whole day, and then at the end of the day, you go back to where you came from because of your poverty. So my job has been trying to make sure there's a system to help my brothers and sisters. And so once that is outlined, I hope that within a few weeks, I'll be announcing a new program to go through the country because, Mr. Chair and Committee, we have demands for people to be employed of hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands. With enough resources, with the fund people are paying back, we can take people from every village and provide hope to many of our innocent and poor young men and women who just want to have a livelihood. Question number 3. The role of the Director General of the National Employment Authority and the Minister for Labour and Social Protection in the recruitment process, where the two officials own any recruitment agencies. The Cabinet Secretary for Labour and Social Protection is a long-serving public servant whose distinguished career spans with various leadership roles, including serving as government spokesperson, Governor of Machakos County, and holding positions in multiple ministries. At no time has the Cabinet Secretary owned, operated, or held any interest in a company engaged in private recruitment. He has no affiliation, whether direct or indirect, with any such entity, and as a public official, his role is to facilitate, regulate, and provide oversight to recruitment agencies, ensuring they operate transparently and ethically while promoting equal employment opportunities for all Kenyans. The Director General of the National Employment Authority, NEA, has never owned, operated, or held any proprietary interest in any private employment agency. She is a public servant and maintains no affiliation, association, or relationship, whether direct or indirect, with any recruitment agency. I'd like to point out something, Mr. Chairman. You can accuse Alfred Mutua of many things. Many things. But there are 5 things you can never accuse Alfred Mutua of. One of them, you can never accuse me of corruption. As a long-serving public official, I've never had any conflict of interest. I've been very straightforward in my dealings. Some people have even thought I'm stupid. They say, ulikuwa governor miaka 10, nini, mbona una hii mali nyingi kama watu wengine? Because I believe in the straight and narrow. Number 2, you can accuse me of many things, but you can never accuse me of laziness. I work very hard. I wake up at 2 o'clock at night thinking of how I can get our people employed in the country and out of the country. How better can we fix this problem? Because it's a big challenge in our country. Because that's where my heart is. I'm very dedicated. Number 3, I'm very loyal to the cause. I can never be accused of being disloyal. I'm loyal to the government of the day. When I'm not loyal, when I don't feel I can be loyal, I'll ask to resign and go. I'm very loyal. Number 4, you can accuse me of very many things, but you can never accuse me of not caring. I have a very big heart, and I care about the welfare of Kenyans. You know, I was cared for. I would not be here if people did not pay my school fees. I would have dropped off at Form 2. That's why I spend a lot of my resources helping other people. And I care about the plight of young people who talk to me all the time. People who send me messages, I've been conned. I'm always working, sending messages to the PS, to others, talking to the DCI. I've had the DCI to my office many times. We are now talking with the DPP, with the Attorney General's office to speed up this program with the help of the Attorney General to get people prosecuted. Those are things that... and number 5, you can never accuse me of not being a believer. I'm a good Christian, and I believe. And I believe in righteousness. So I just want to say that I don't know what mischief falls in this question, but I just want to point out I have never owned an agency. I don't have any affiliation or association with any recruitment agency. That's not my field. I just happen to be the Minister of Labour. I was the Minister of Tourism. There I could have said, yes, I own hotels, because I owned hotels before then. You know, I owned things in that industry. I was the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I did not own any embassies. So I said I had no conflict of interest. I never owned anything, you know. So in the same way, I don't own anything. And I've double-checked. I did not just listen to my director. I asked NIS to do investigation, whether my Director General has any association. And I was told she doesn't have any association. with any companies. Question 4. Whether due process was followed in vetting the agencies engaged to work in partnership with NEA and the ministry, considering that one of the leading agencies of the firm engaged by the ministry, Festus Omwamba, has been arrested before and charged with collecting money for fake diaspora jobs. The government of Kenya, 4.5, the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection has established an elaborate mechanism for vetting and licensing of private employment agencies. The two, and I want to point out, if I can, I don't know if I can table, but say that the NEA website, www.nea.neims, N-E-A-I-M-S, neims.go.k, just clarifying to make sure I don't get it wrong, has the list, and it's a long list. I do want to make, we are saving trees, make most photocopies, but the list can be found there by the committee of the registered employment agencies. And also, and this is where I get you to opportunity to also table to you the list of the companies that we have deregistered because they were conning people and that failed the test. So this is a continuous process, and that's a list that wananchi need to know, and we'll be publishing that list so that people know they should not be conned. And I think this is the list that we have, the current list, and of this year, and these are 32 companies that have been conning people. We also have at this juncture a list to you of people and agencies submitted to DCI for investigation and prosecution. These ones also include travel agents that were taking people to Myanmar who were working as slaves. No registered agency participated in the Myanmar fiasco. This was not under our watch. This was done by individuals who we learned later, and I've had the opportunity to speak to some victims, and they told me they logged online, they saw a company, they were sent a visa online, they were sent everything online, but they did not check whether the people are traveling. And because we make sure that we attest everything for these registered agencies, these people are not traveling. At the airport, it was difficult to know they are going for work in Thailand or Myanmar because they had tourist visas. As a government, and I want to say this to people of Kenya, you should not travel for employment on a tourist visa. You go on an employment visa or a temporary employment visa. Anybody sending you on a tourist visa, that person is conning you. And so people need to realize it is also for your own security. With regard, and the two recruitment agencies involved in the exercise, the ones we talked about, Mona Lisa Company and Global Face Human Resources, are duly registered by the National Employment Authority. During the recruitment drive, the ministry ensured that only licensed PRAs participated in the exercise. I believe this is the one for the people who are going, the people who are paying 15,000. With regard to the specific case involving Mr. Festus Omwamba, according to our records, the Director of Global Face Human Resources Limited is listed as Mr. Festus Arasa Omwamba. It is important to clarify that any agency or individual previously implicated in unethical recruitment practices is not allowed to engage in recruitment. The ministry maintains a zero-tolerance policy towards malpractice and remains committed to protecting Kenyan job seekers from exploitation by unscrupulous actors. Let me take time to say that recently, I've received complaints about Global Face, that they took monies and of people. I reached out through NEA, and the response I got is they had the monies, but the companies that they were sending those money to, or the embassies that they went to, I think some were to Serbia and other places, the people were denied visas, so they could not travel. And others, the jobs did not come through on time. So my direction was pay back every shilling of the people, because things happen. So for me, I am yet to receive a complaint that Mr. Festus Arasa Omwamba and Global Face Human Resources Limited is yet to pay. as far as from what I've heard from people writing to me, is that thank you very much, I got my money back. Because that is how it should be. So if it's an agency and people don't get visas, pay back the money. Because you cannot say you've been conned if you've been refunded your money. But if somebody takes your money and they have not refunded the money and they're not providing your job, those are con artists. So the rest has to be based on facts. And just to point out, Mr. Chairman, as I conclude this point, is that for us to deregister somebody, there's a process. The process of a committee that sits down, looks at the complaints, and it's made up of officers from national intelligence, from the Attorney General's office, from the DCI's office, from my office. So it's a government team that actually makes that decision based on facts. Based on facts. Not, I don't know, when somebody gets arrested or not arrested, have they been prosecuted? What are the facts? So that's another point. We'll ask them, why were you arrested? And we look at the facts. And National Intelligence Agency, DCI, give us the facts. Then we make a decision based on facts. Because we have to be also fair to everybody. Crooks have to go. Good people, if they make mistakes, they correct the mistakes, they continue with their work, because it's their livelihood. And lastly, question number 5. List of beneficiaries of the current labor export program and reasons for the backlog of the shortlisted candidates arising from recent recruitment who have not traveled for work more than 6 months after they paid the recruitment fee. The deployment migrant workers involve several stages, including registration, mandatory medical examinations, and coordination with foreign employers and agencies, which may result in delays. While some candidates have waited for more than 6 months, others have already traveled and taken up the jobs. The Ministry affirmed its commitment to finalizing the process, transparency, and in compliance with applicable laws. And will combine the full list of the people who have traveled and the people who have received job offers, and will be able to provide it to this respectable, honored Senate. I submit, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Do we still have another point to be presented from you?
No, I've exhausted the 4 questions.
You have
exhausted with the evidence that I said, that the different evidence that I have put. The only thing that I have not tabled is a list, because I'm compiling. I want to give an accurate list. Because the list I was given had some who are traveling, some have not traveled, some are waiting for visas. So I said, polish the list, because I have to present an accurate list of the people who have traveled, ones who have not traveled, and I'll be availing that list to this House.
What time frame are you thinking about?
Days.
How many days?
7 calendar days.
7 calendar days, a week.
A week from today.
Okay. We also have a list of the bad ones, and then the under investigation.
Yes.
Is a list of the good ones possible also to be tabled or submitted?
Yes, I have that list. It's a huge list, like a big bundle. So my indulgence was, can we submit it online so we don't have to photocopy so many pages for all the committee members?
Yeah, as long as
submitted, we can submit an online
forward
copy.
it to the clerk.
Okay, that can be done
okay.
Within the next few hours. Yeah, the next few hours, yeah.
Okay, members, any
Chair,
question?
Yes, Chair, as the statement holder and an individual who has been mentioned adversely, kindly if you can give me a few minutes to just ask some clarifications, and maybe, I don't know if they will answer or they will list them all down and then we'll expect the answers at the end. Maybe you can guide, Chair.
Let's all ask, and then he will respond, please.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, for clarity, I think all the members sitting in this House, their job is representation and oversight. And in that representation and oversight, we also end up either facilitating or ensuring that those who have been wale wamenyanyaswa wanapata haki yao. Chair, it is because of that I have been involved in this, because a huge group of individuals from my constituency, Bobasi, have actually fallen prey to being conned whether by the bad agents or the ministry or what. That is why this inquiry is there. And that is why, after reaching out to the Cabinet Secretary of Labor and also to the Director General of National Employment Authority, Chair, and I did not get satisfactory answers, Chair, I brought a statement to the floor of the House, which has now probed this investigation, which I know that Kenyans want to hear the answers. Chair, I have 4 questions that I would like to pose to the Cabinet Secretary. Question number 1, Chair. We have a government program where we have seen the Cabinet Secretary going to different countries to negotiate bilateral agreements, to negotiate for jobs for job seekers in Kenya. Those trips are financed by the taxpayer. Those trips by the whole team of the Ministry of Labor and the Cabinet Secretary are actually financed by the people of Kenya. Chair, when the Cabinet Secretary reaches there, we have been informed that negotiations have been done and we have gotten a certain number of, for instance, nurses from Canada or Australia or wherever, or sometimes he goes to United Arab Emirates, negotiates jobs for Kenyans. But Chair, my question then becomes, when these jobs under the government-to-government program are negotiated and are secured by the government, once the jobs are secured, Chair, can we get a very clear explanation of how those jobs then trickle down to Kenyans? Because what I am aware of, having partnered with the National Employment Authority, and I've also had the Cabinet Secretary say that the work of government is not to be agents, what I'm aware is that we negotiate for the G2G jobs as government, the jobs arrive in Kenya, and then the jobs are given to the commercial agents who then sell back the jobs to the Kenyan people. That is why you are now being told of administrative fees. So my question is, can he be able to articulate and tell us when he goes to negotiate for jobs and he gets 1,000 nursing jobs, how do those jobs trickle down to the Kenyans? Question number 2. I think for all the Kenyans listening, including this committee, this is the first time we have gotten numbers, actual figures of how many people have been successful in this whole program. For the first time, we're being told that there was 300 people who were flagged off to go to, was it Saudi Arabia? And also, we are being informed of another 300 people. And I've also had the Cabinet Secretary talk of, was it 70 or was it 60 people who flew out this Saturday. And it is important to note that that was after the probe, the Senate probe began. Chair, my question to the Cabinet Secretary is, when you are running a program, how difficult is it for you to be able to track and give a list of every successful candidate who has gone through that program and who has traveled? And if it is so difficult, how then will you be able to track those Kenyans who are out there, who are being subjected to all sorts of craziness, including slavery, if your own government program cannot even table to the Senate committee a list of the successful people that you have been able to take out there? So I've heard you said you need 7 days to give us a simple list of the number of people who have gone. Chair, we live in this country. The members here will attest that when KICC recruitment was going on, the fourth estate was here. They showed us a long queue of youth, surmounting to thousands. Yes, Cabinet Secretary, it was thousands at KICC. We saw a recruitment in the church that was the other day when there was a pronunciation. There were hundreds of people. So my question is, in all these recruitment drives, we have seen you working very hard, Cabinet Secretary, going to every other county, Kisumu, wherever, all these counties you've gone to recruit in partnerships with the agents. Don't you have data that you are tracking, that you can give? That is what I was expecting. I was expecting you to come here and slap us with the truth and tell us, in fact, this is so successful. These are the number of people we removed in Kisumu. These are the number of people who have gone. So, Chair, my question is, if the ministry cannot track data as it's running its program, how will they track the Kenyans who are already out there suffering? Question number 3. Chair, the National Employment Authority has been ahead of this. I have heard the Cabinet Secretary saying that government is not an agency. I have heard him saying that government is not in charge of, recruiting or giving people jobs. Then my question is, what is the role of the National Employment Authority? And if we can be given the role of the National Employment Authority in relation to this recruitment drive. Chair, I ask this because when I partnered with the National Employment Authority, including the posters that he has said and the videos, which are there, yes, they are there, in partnership with the National Employment Authority, it is that authority that is vetting the agents. It is that authority that is also vetting what you have heard him saying, the job orders. It is that authority that will be able to tell you that government has a bilateral agreement or does not have a bilateral agreement with certain countries. Chair, this weekend, and maybe I'm wrong, the Cabinet Secretary is here, he can now correct that. Those 60 people who have traveled out of this country have gone to Iraq. We have this same government rescuing people from Iraq. So my question is, what is the role of the National Employment Authority? Because they cannot also sit and say that their role is just to regulate and give licenses, yet they are the same ones who are also posting jobs on their websites. They are the same ones who are also endorsing some of the agents who I see here who have conned Kenyans. We need to get clarity so that us as legislators and representatives of the people can be able to do our work the way we are supposed to do. Finally, Chair, as I submit.
The last one. And
yes, you know, Chair, I'm the statement holder, and I'm very passionate about this because you can see now they want to start frightening me.
Yeah, the others also.
Telling me they are going to remove me as a senator, because I'm playing my job. That one, I bring it on. Chair, let me say this. We have an agent. We have many agents. The one that I can point out, because I have had an interaction through the people who came to my office. This Global Face Human Resource Chair, which I'm glad Waziri Mutua has actually said that he's not sure if we are talking about the same person. You see, this is the drama that we subject Kenyans to. Global Face Human Resource has a director by the name Festus. Whether Omwamba or Omambia or whatever, it is Festus, they are aware.
Am I allowed to do a point of order?
Chair,
because you can't put words in my mouth.
Chair, I have to, he can respond. He has an opportunity to respond.
Yeah.
Hold a minute, let her finish.
Yeah.
She's just about to finish.
Chair,
can you tell the truth, because this is a house of records?
Yeah.
Tell the truth. You don't have to lie to the
Chair,
gallery just because there are cameras.
I will be held accountable for every word. And Chair, you have seen me sitting here and listening to including the false claims that the Cabinet Secretary has brought to distract this committee. So he should also allow me to speak so that he can clarify, the same way I'm going to clarify to the people of Kenya that I am not involved in any. I have no business in this country, Chair. So, Chair, I want to ask, in his submissions that we have in writing, they have said that they are only aware of one Festus Omwambia. The spelling is a mistake between a W and an IA. That is the only difference that we have. Otherwise, the company is the same, the individual is the same, but the Cabinet Secretary is trying to come to this committee to tell us that, okay, maybe if you're talking about the Festus with an IA, that one we don't know. But us, we know the Festus with a WA. Chair, at the end of this inquiry, because I've seen Mr. Festus, I've seen his photos out there, it is the same Festus. And it is the same company that is calling people. And they are still licensed. So I want to ask this question to the Cabinet Secretary and to the Director General of National Employment Authority. Because it's no longer a game. We are playing with Kenyans' lives. It's not about a game of WA or IA. It is about people getting conned, people committing suicide. It's about families being broken.
Okay.
And
Senator,
you cannot come here to tell us that the Festus you're referring to is an IA and our Festus is a WA. It doesn't matter because at the police station, his fingerprints are taken and his fingerprints are the same.
Please,
so we want to know that the National Employment Authority is safeguarding Kenyans from rogue agents, not this drama.
You have made your point. So That was the fourth point and last. Any other member? And please make it brief.
Okay, Chair.
Time is over.
Okay, let me
just go to the question.
Yes, okay. Chair, I wanted to get a clarification from the CS on the 55,000 shilling that these Kenyans are charged. If they can at least scale down or even a portion or even break down the 55,000 on medical and what kind of medical are they expected to have and how much up to the last coin, so that we get to understand that charge is well apportioned. Two, to the Cabinet Secretary, for this big and good program that you have presented to the Kenyans, and you've gone all over the country and out of the country, I wanted to know the budget that has been allocated to this ministry in regards to this, because I found a bit ridiculous to see or even to hear that Wezo Fund, Sports Fund is being, you fundraising funds. So I would really want to know what is the program of this ministry in regards to this important program that has been, presented to Kenyans, that this is a very good program. Last but not least, is the policy. The ministry has a policy in this regard, if not an act or a regulation? Do you have a policy that guides you on how to do things? To say today I will be charging 55,000 shilling to Kenyans, or this is the policy that engage the companies that have been given work, so that we get to see the agreements, the MOU between the ministry and the agencies. So can we have the policy or the regulation that has been passed either by cabinet or by this house or by National Assembly to guide the ministry in this regard? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me, yes, actually I have 3 questions which are very brief. But before I put forth the questions, I would request that this sitting is not treated to exchange between Honorable Senator Gloria and the CS. This is a committee, and all members of the committee are involved in this to receive the answers to the statements Senator raised. So kindly let's limit that it doesn't become an exchange between the CS and Honorable Senator. My first question to the CS. Approximately, how long does the process take from recruitment, registration, to the securing a job? Because this is very important to know. Even those who go for recruitment, they are aware. Then, and be of that, does the ministry give information to the recruitees in terms of the time frame and the stages that the recruitment go through? The third question, Chair, allow me to say this is on an individual. Festus, is he here? If he is here, I would like him to tell this committee if he had any dealing with Honorable Senator, where he comes from, if we had any earlier dealings with Honorable Senator Oroba before she raised the statement. Thank you.
Okay, Senator Mundigi.
Asante, Chairperson. Inaonekana ni program mzuri, inaweza kusaidia vijana wetu. Nauliza kwa Cabinet Secretary, kutoka wakati vijana wetu na wasichana wetu walianza kwenda ng'ambo, before that time kulikuwa vijana, wasichana wanapata shida katika huko nje, wanauawa, wengine wadhulumiwa, lakini wakati serikali iliingilia ndio hii program ilianza. Ningetaka kujua kwa wasiri, kutoka wakati ule mpaka leo, wale watu wameenda wetu, ni wangapi umesikia malalamishi, ama ni wangapi wameona wakienda kule wamekosa kurudi kwa sababu ya shinda? Kwa sababu wakati wa kwanza kulikuwa semekana unaenda kuwa mwalimu, unaenda kuwa mindi, unaenda kuwa hii, lakini najua hii program ukitoka hapa kama unaenda kuwa mwalimu, unaenda kuwa mwalimu. Lakini kuna mtu anaweza aenda kule asikii aridhishwi na hiyo kazi. Ni wangapi umesikia wakilalamika? Ya pili, kulingana na hii kesi Ngorori alilete, Senator Ngorori alilete, watu wamekuwa wakisikia waridhiki na kwenda nje. Ni wangapi wanaweza kuwa wamerudishiwa pesa zao? Na pia ni wangapi wengine wanaweza kuwa walikoniwa na agents zingine? Na kama agent wale wako registered katika NEA, kama wako hapa tungetaka kuwajua. Hiyo ndio swali langu.
Vice Chair.
Were you going to say Deputy President?
You may be someday.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think my questions are just a couple to the CS in response to his submission. Number one, CS, you talked about 8,000 job orders that were negotiated G2G. And in your submission, you also spoke about 300 job seekers who passed the process of vetting. My question is, why is there such a big difference between the job orders that were secured and the number of young people who have secured these jobs through the vetting process? And the part B of that question is, what happens to the other 7,700 jobs? Where do they go? Because they've already been negotiated G2G. Number two, communications and transparency seems to be one of the issues raised by the sponsor of the statement. Whose job is it to communicate with the job seekers who have been successful or not successful in terms of where the process has reached, changes that maybe have occurred during the process? Because you talked about sometimes this happens, sometimes you've gone and seen that it's not adequate, the jobs that, for example, salaries that have been offered is not adequate to you, so you have, began the process of amending or changing things here and there to best suit our young Kenyans. So whose job is it in terms of communication to the applicants? Is it the ministry's job? Is it National Employment Authority? Or is it the agent on the ground? And whomever's responsibility it is, can you table, whichever agency it is or institution, table some of these communications that are made? Because you talked about full transparency. We'd like to see that there has been, or evidence of there being full transparency, because of course job seekers are complaining that they have been kept in the dark for too many months. So where are the communications therein, just explaining to them, this is what's happened, this is the reason for the delay, etc. And my next question is with regard to the 55,000 you spoke about. You mentioned in that submission, Waziri, that a part of the 55,000, amongst other things, is for a repatriation fee. If a job seeker like myself, if I go somewhere and I feel what has been advertised or what was told to me is not the case, I will be repatriated. That's what you were alluding to as part of the 55,000. My question is, according to the bilateral agreements or the policy that Senator Seki is requesting for clarification on, whose responsibility is it to pay for repatriation? Shouldn't it be the responsibility of the host country if to have advertised something falsely? Or is it for me to pay to be processed for a job abroad, and then also for me to pay to be brought back home in case things go awry? I feel like there is an issue there for me. It should be the responsibility of the host country, but I seek a clarification. Thank you.
All right. Let me ask the CS to respond to these questions. Oh, Senator Morgan.
Chairman, you don't want your mirror to have a voice in this. Now, Waziri, first, I think there is nothing wrong in trying to get jobs for our youths, as long as the process is fair and is not oppressive to our people. Now, I have about 3 questions. Number one, 55,000 is a lot of money for unemployed Kenyans. Why didn't the ministry have a policy where medical examinations are done at government medical facilities, where the fee is likely to be cheaper. Why did you put in place this policy of sending Kenyans to private institutions where the fees is exorbitant? Number two, we have a policy as a government around issues dealing with HIV. When you go for HIV testing, there should be counseling, so that you are counseled in the event that you are HIV positive. Now, all these Kenyans who are being sent for HIV testing, as the government put in place a policy where those who are found to be positive are cancelled. Because that is the policy we have. If you are HIV positive, you should be cancelled. 3, and I think the final one, and I want to thank Senator Gloria, who brought up this matter, because it seems this matter has serious underlying challenges, because it seems 32 agencies have either been deregistered or blacklisted. That's not a small number. 153 are already presented to DCI for further investigation. So it's a confession that there are issues. So we should look at the question raised by Senator Oroba on a positive note, that it's trying to look how we address the fraud around this issue of sending Kenyans to work abroad. Now, as a measure of protecting Kenyans, I just wanted to know whether you have put an advert in any of our newspapers alerting Kenyans that these 32 agencies have been blacklisted. And then, more worrying for me, is these 132 that you have sent to DCI, are they still operational? Are Kenyans still paying the money to process their paperwork to travel? Because if that is happening, it means that we still have many Kenyans who may be susceptible to fraud by these organizations. So as a measure of protecting, because you and I are there for the people we serve, the citizens. So what measures have you put in place to protect Kenyans from going to these agencies, and to also publicize so that Kenyans know these ones are fraudsters, they don't go there? Thank you, Chair. And I'm sorry. We once did a serious inquiry on abuse that Kenyans face once they go abroad. Last week, we brought in 3 people from the Omogusi Nation who died in Qatar. I'm sure the ministry is aware. So it's good you process them, they go abroad, they start work. Now, once they are abroad, do we have adequate mechanisms to ensure that these Kenyans are not subjected to inhuman treatment while working abroad? Thank you, Chair.
Bwana CS, so that you can answer together, I have one or two of mine, which is alongside what he has just said. While we visited Saudi Arabia, we found out that there was a discommunication cut out completely between a worker in somebody's house and our embassy. There was no communication. And so we found out also that there was a lot of running away of our young people from houses to the street. And the street lures them and say, you will get better money if you come to the street. And that is where many of them end up in. And then there was a lot of horrifying stories about what happens in that street. And most deaths, as we were told and confessed by some of the girls, most of those happen in the street, not in houses. But they have to make up stories to cover up so that the street is not discovered, so that Kenyans do not lay blame on them. Instead, they lay blame on the citizens of Saudi Arabia. But in the street, there are doctors who do abortions, and they are not trained. In the streets, there is changa. We were told that we froze to death, hearing that there is changa in Saudi Arabia, done by our young people. So what can we do to really follow up on every individual such that those street lives and koinange is not transferred to Saudi Arabia? And then I would also like to hear from Mrs. Okoki, because Senator Waber talked about partnership with NEA and collaboration with NEA. What is that? Buenos días. Just ask one short question.
Hii ni kwa asili. Hii kesi ndio Roba walete ilianza katika kaunti kama Kisii na kaunti zingine kama 3 na tuko kaunti ya 47. Wasiri atatuelezea kama kaunti zile zingine amesikia maramishi. Kwa sababu wakati tunaendelea na hii kesi naona senator wa Kisii ako hapa na senator wa Nyamira ako hapa na pia nominated ndio Roba ako hapa. Tunataka kujua na ile agent ambaye alikuwa anaangalia maneno kama kuna any networking ama connection wako naye ama ni marafiki ama wamekosana, ndio tujue ukweli wa hii maneno ndio tuweze kuitatua.
Asante. Bwana, CS.
Thank you very much.
Then I'll go to agencies.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable members, I really appreciate the questions that have been asked, and I will try to answer them very quickly. And the government signs BLAs. This is Senator Robo's questions with other countries. And the bilateral labor agreements say that they can open up. You see, countries give visas. So not each country gives a visa for a Kenyan to be employed in that country. So when you enter into an agreement, it means now Kenyans can seek employment in that country. When we go and we hear that we have opened up, we've gotten nursing jobs, it is not nursing jobs that we come back with in a chondo. It is the quota. Because countries operate with a quota. They say they want 100,000 nurses from different countries, and they allocate quotas. So you find that Kenya is never allocated these quotas. So when we go to bargain, we tell them we have nurses. So they say, okay, Kenya will now allocate you 10,000 nurses per year. So now it means that our agencies can go to those countries and find agencies and hospitals who can now give Kenyans a job because Kenyans are in that list. Because Kenyans used to go there, but they tell you, sorry, you are not in the government list of receiving quotas. So it is not that we come back with a kikapu of jobs. When I go there, I go to negotiate on behalf of all Kenyans and for the sector to get the jobs. These government-to-government jobs are never transmitted like I'm given jobs directly. Most of them are given to the country, but it is processed through agencies. Because even the government there, they tell agencies, can you get me these positions? Because they work with agencies. Because the agencies know the human resource management. We don't have the ability, and ourselves, for example, in office, to do human resource to hire for people. So the agencies are the ones who now take the backlog, do the paperwork, getting the visas, passports, and all those. And that's what is expected. They deal with other HR agencies in those countries.
Sorry, Chair. So for clarity, this is not a G2G program. This is an agency-to-agency program.
It is the government that decides that the government of Tanzania is going to allocate to the government of Kenya so many jobs. That means now Kenya market, the market is open. In the same way, if you're doing agriculture, and the government of Tanzania says we are now going to allow chicken, extra amount of chicken to come. It is a government-to-government negotiation which now empowers our business people and our farmers to walk to Tanzania and sell their chicken. So that is how it works. So it is
Chair,
a government-to-government...
Chair, I'm sorry to interject, but that is very important for Kenyans to know, because we've been asking why there is even a fee being charged if it is a government-to-government program. But, Chair, what the Cabinet Secretary has made clear is that it is a negotiation, but the business is agency to agency. It is not a government-to-government program.
Madam Orobo is right?
Yeah.
And that is why, without the government intervening and negotiating for Kenya, you don't get it. It's like how we negotiate for AGOA. When our president negotiated for the European Union for us to sign the deal with them, the market country, the name runs from my end, the IPAC or something. We negotiated so that our people could trade with the European Union. So the government negotiates on behalf of entire Kenyans. I'll go to the second question.
And it can as well be private entity.
Yes.
It can be an hospital in Doha.
Yes.
And it goes through their government to our government.
Yes.
And then the government goes to the agency.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, for example, the hospitals in Doha have been telling their government, we are getting too many agencies coming here with very qualified medical personnel from Kenya, but you've not included Kenya in your list. So, and then the agencies talk to us. There we go, we negotiate. Then the government says, okay. So, and then sasa ni kazi yao watu kufanya nini? Kufanya sasa kazi yao to connect the dots. The second question that Madam asked is about why is it so difficult to track the table? It's not difficult to track. There is nothing difficult to track here. It's very simple. We know the number of people who have gone out of the country, and I said I'll give you, I can give you the general figures. For example, we have, just bear with me. We have in the 1 year since February 2024 and 30th March, less than a year, 2025, we have sent 41,102 Kenyans overseas, broken down per county, such that you find that per region, you find that in the coast region, 8,000, in northeastern, 1,668, in eastern, 1,649, and it continues. I have the figures.
Yeah, Chair,
But
can we have that submitted?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
because
the question.
that is just a standard procedure. So, Chair, I'm asking that because I find it dodgy that we are spending taxpayers' money sending cabinet secretaries to negotiate G2G agreements with people who don't even trust
really struggling. Yeah, but
we are used to the drama.
I'm a very good person.
The drama is, we are used to it.
No, I'm very polite.
Cobras. Chair, I meant a
please,
request.
please,
Chair,
please.
I meant a request.
One-
Let it not
one
be an
meeting.
exchange between
One
the
meeting,
CS
one
and
meeting.
the senator. Please.
So let me make it this way.
Okay.
You see, the part of the medical is part of the visa processing. So, for example, you find that if you go to VFS, they'll also tell you, go here for your medicals, bring the x-rays to the VFS, they process. So for you to get a visa given to you to work in this company as an employee of Kenya to one of these countries, part of the requirements of the visa, they check at the embassy, is that you went to GAMCA, the same way they check you went to VFS. I think that's clear. That is not a failure of the Minister for Labour. That is not the failure of the Minister for Foreign Affairs or the President of the Republic of Kenya. That is just how the system works all over the world. And it's an international system, which is not our failure. Our job is to go and secure opportunities so the companies can open. Let me talk about Germany, for example. When we went to Germany, Germany was closed. We are the second country, I think, in the continent to sign an agreement with Germany, which now will allow Kenyans to get more opportunities. So German companies are coming here, talking to agencies, to get Kenyans to go to Germany, because we have a relationship between the two countries. And countries, diplomatically, countries deal government-to-government agreement. It may be agriculture, it may be fertilizer, it may be transport. It is the countries that negotiate with each country to open up for their business people and others to work. So, and each country has its own limitations and what is expected of them. Mr. Chairman, if we can continue.
Go ahead, wind
Chair,
up.
can I
CS.
just kindly, Chair, just a comment as he continues. Waziri, you have made also a comment, and you've clarified, thank you for that, that National Employment Authority, their job is to regulate, amongst other things, licensing and so forth. So I just wanted to ask, do you then see the issue that arises when National Employment Authority, whether it's through the DG or any of its officers, are seen or perceived to front particular agents, whether they are in the counties, talking about X agent, Y agent, or Z agent, because the populace will then feel, I have seen so-and-so from NER endorsing these 10 agencies specifically, so they must be trustworthy. Do you then see the issue that arises there, the conflict, and therefore shouldn't NER stick to regulation alone and not being seen or heard to front or endorse any agency?
It's a very good question. NER does not front or support any agency. What NER does is show up to ensure that the agencies that are participating in that recruitment are registered. When we went to Machakos, NER was able to kick out a number of agencies that were fake agencies, because they go there, and they went there and they told me, we are kicking out these individuals who have come and set up banners. They're not registered. Some of them are banned. So the work of NER is to provide, oversight. So when they go, they don't go to recruit. They show up to provide oversight, so that now they can hold the people responsible who are recruiting, because they know you went, you recruited, you promised. The NER also are the ones who pointed out to me that now by doing this oversight, we have reduced the number of people being conned by fake agencies. And number two, they have also been able to alert me of agencies that are charging exorbitant prices, so that we could tell them to bring it down or cancel, because some of them are trying to make money out of innocent Kenyans instead of making some little money, and you get your money through, through volume, not by really taking advantage. Very good question, Madam Senator. The second question that I was asked, trying to go with speed, by Senator Beth, the process varies from country to country. If, for example, you're hired to go to Australia to be a nurse or a medical doctor, it takes a minimum of 14 months, because there are board exams to pass. There's a process. It takes a minimum, an average, not minimum, an average of 14 months. Others can go at 8 months. The average is about a year. You start the process now while you're still working. Within a year, you're able to go. Others, depending on the jobs, take a month. depending on the flexibility and the type of job you're going to do. Some hospitality jobs come up very quickly. The average is 6 months. That's what I would say. The average job is about 6 to 8 months from the time you are given an offer letter to the time you travel, because of the processes that go through. And so you had a very good question. Are we informing people? When I got into the ministry, people are not being informed. That is why I have insisted that when people are hired, we have to have NITA call a session with the people being given job offers, and they are taken through our training. What do you call it? Pre-departure training, where they are told, you've been given this, it may take 6 months, it will take 8 months. I tell them their rights. And they are told, not necessarily me, but they are told now it's part of our curriculum to tell our people all that. But I have learned also, we are going to be informing people. Also, we tell the agencies to tell people how long it will take, so that people do not have expectations and the anxiety of waiting. But you see, the anxiety, for example, of the jobs of people is because when the jobs opened up, for example, for a great country of Qatar, some people went within, I think the first lot went after 3-4 months, about 4 months. The first group went after 4 months. Another group went after 2 months after that, and they're still going. So I think when they saw the first group go, another group go, 6 months later, niko hapa, no, I've been conned. So I think it's that anxiety of people feeling they have been conned, because they think, ule alienda, my brother went, I'm being left. My sister went, I'm being left. But we're telling them it is a process. And I think with time, by next year, once people understand the process, how it works, we're going to see less anxiety, as long as other people do not blow up the anxiety and try to cause a crisis. You know, we just lower the temperature, explain to people, and then we are able to move. You had a question about asbestos here.
For clarity, we are being told that the time...
Please, through
no, for
the
clarity,
chair.
this is important. Through the chair.
You just don't shout.
Sorry,
like
through the chair. For clarity, for the Kenyans who are waiting out there. I have heard that we are being told that it takes up to 14 months. So is 14 months the cutoff?
I think, Mr. Chairman, I've explained that very clearly. Yeah. It was very straightforward. I will go to the next question that was asked by Senator Beth, and that is asking whether Festus is here. I think that's for the chair to deal with, so I will not engage in that question. Madam Orobo also had a question, sorry, I just saw it, about agencies, and I think she made a remark, and I'm not being personal. She made a remark saying these agencies are, she said we are endorsing agencies that are conning people. And I'm saying we are not endorsing an agency that is conning people. Our job is to regulate. If you con people, we deal with you. And so we are not conning anybody. And I'm aware when she's blaming agencies and calling them conmen, I don't know whether the committee is aware that some agencies have taken her to court for defamation because of her remarks that are ruining their business and making them, blaming them to be criminals.
Through
without
the chair.
I'm just pointing
Through
out
the chair, because he has brought it up.
The second question.
That should not be here, CS.
Okay.
So,
No, through chair, it's okay.
I withdraw that statement.
Chair, I'm okay with it because in that chair, I'm okay with it.
The chairman has ruled.
It is the cabinet secretary has also signed an affidavit to support those agencies. Now that he has brought it here, I would like for the public to know that the cabinet secretary has.
It has been
Chair,
withdrawn.
remember my request, please.
So now
It
that
has
he has
been
brought
withdrawn.
Remember my request.
Yeah.
or has he withdrawn it so that I can inform the Okay, then I withdraw the affidavit that the cabinet secretary has given the agencies.
Let's wind up, CS.
I'm a witness because I've also been accused. So I'm a witness. So
Don't go there.
It's my right. I'll not go there. I think. Let me go to the global face. At no time. That's what I'm saying. This is a House of Records, senior counsel. At no time did I doubt about. I just said the spelling of the name was different, but the same face as Omwamba. So I didn't know. And I said that she said that he's been calling people, and we are protecting. We are not protecting. And I clearly said, people reached out to me about this Festus Omwamba. And I got my team to tell Festus Omwamba to call Festus Omwamba and ask him. And the answer he gave was, people are going to Serbia, they are not given, I don't know to which country, they are not given visas, blah, 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 blah. I didn't want to hear that excuse. My excuse was, if people have been denied visas, give them their money back or find them alternative places. That is my position. You know, and I've been very firm. So, you know, I don't have any, I'm a bit tough to these agencies. So you don't take people's money and keep it in your pocket. You know, you pay back the money if you're not taking people overseas. It's as period as that, simple as that. Honorable Seki is not in the room, but he asked about the breakdown of the 55K medical, and I'll just give it to you, of how the agency that was given the work did. And you know what usually happens that these employment agencies, when we travel with the president, we find them there already negotiating. So there are agencies who travel all over the world and they negotiate with companies. And so those companies give the jobs to those agencies to supply people in Kenya once we open the quota. So by the time we get to a country, they already have their own agency. And that was what has been happening here. The breakdown is the medical fees were 15,000, the visa guarantee 20,000, the good conduct is attestation by the Qatar is 7,000, pre-departure training 5,000, document certification 5,000, and processing and administration fee was 3,000. So what happens that this guarantee is actually, the 20,000 is the money the agency makes per person for the work that they are doing, for getting the visas done, for taking them for medicals, for processing everything. They make their 20,000, which they only take if the person passes through the first 6 months, because you have the guarantees for 6 months. The person has been found to be fit, they are working, they are healthy, they are okay, they have not quit within 6 months. That's when now they can claim the 6 months. So that is the breakdown. There was a question about policy on the charges and the service fee and everything. I think I've answered that question. But I also want to clarify one thing. It's good for the committee to know as they come to concluding. What happens? Let me give you an example of the United Arab Emirates. And I've asked, I want to go there because I want to meet the minister and negotiate. And you see, I'm negotiating for Kenyans here. What happens that companies, they give a job to a company, to an HR company, but they don't give them any payment. They tell you, senior counsel, if I'm used as an example, because you're my friend, can you get us 10,000 people in the construction industry? So that company in Dubai now comes to Kenya to contract Kenyan companies to hire for them. And they get their fee from the person being hired. And that is just how they do business. That's what they're doing in Uganda, that's what they're doing in Tanzania, that's what they're doing in South Africa, that's what they're doing in Malawi, in Ghana, in Nigeria, in India, that's how it is. So you find, for example, somebody told me the other day that they wanted me to intercede for them because the HR company was charging 2,500 dirhams for every person hired. So if you multiply 2,500 with 37, that is 92,500 that a Kenyan is paying to that company for the job, and you've not even started your visa process. So I've been negotiating. I was able to call, because when the minister can call, I was able to call through a support with my agent, with my attaché in Dubai, get to talk to this company, and they lowered their fee from 2,500 to 1,200, which they said is the lowest they can go, take it or leave it, which now brought it down so that 1,200 times 37, it came to 44,000 instead of the 95,000. So 50,000 has been saved. I want to bring it down to 500, dirhams. So I want to go and see whether I can. So I'm not doing it for one agency, because if we can get a low figure for Kenyans, it's good for us. It's good for our people, so that even the money we have can go further to more people. Seneta Waembu aliuliza swali ya kwamba watu walianza kwenda ng'ambo kwa muda mrefu na wengine walikuwa tunasikia kila wakati ya kwamba kuna shida. Na kwa sababu ile mpangilio ulifanywa katika serikali ya William Ruto, unakuta kwanza vile visa vimepungua. Hausikii ule mlio uliokuwepo. Mimi nilipokuwa kule Foreign Affairs nilitembelea nchi kadhaa nikishirikiana na waziri aliyekuwa wa Labor. Hivi sasa pia nimetembelea nchi kadhaa, nilikuwa katika nchi kadhaa tukaongea kuhusu utaratibu wa kuimarisha kwamba Wakenya wakiwa kule ng'ambo wanatunzwa, wanaishi katika maisha ambayo sio upweke na waumizi. Tayari niko na report naipeleka kwa serikali, kwa cabinet, ya wale watu ambao wamefariki ng'ambo, visa na nini kinatokea, ndio tuweze kuamua kama serikali ni mpango upi tunaweza kuchukua ya kuweza kuwalinda Wakenya. Na tunaanzia pia hotline system. Kuna program tunatengeneza ya kuweza watu wanaweza kutoa alert hapa katika nchi hapa, kwa sababu wakiwa na shida kwenda kwa embassy wanatumia hotline ambayo tunaweza kujua kwa online iko shida, ndio tunaweza kufuata kwa upesi, sio kufuata wakati mtu tayari ameshaumia. Ni vizuri kutaja kwamba wale wengi ambao tumeona wakiwa katika visa tofauti vya kuumia ni wale wanaofanya kazi ya nyumbani. Utakuta Wakenya wengi ambao wanafanya kazi kama madereva, wanafanya kazi kwa hoteli, wanafanya kazi kama walimu, wanafanya kazi nyingi ambao hawana hizi shida. Ni housemaid sector ndio iko na shida. Hiyo ndio mimi inanikula kichwa, ndio nataka kuweza kuitatua. Uliuliza pia, nafikiri nimekujibu maswali yako kwa kina kabisa. Vice Chair asked about the 8,000 job offers. The 8,000 job offers was what you'd say was a quota were given by a company. So it's up to us to fill the quota. So it is not that the jobs are not there. So they came, they were able to recruit about 3,000 out of the 5,000, out of which we've gotten close to 1,000 job offers. They travel, then they'll give us more job offers, so that when we are done with the 3,000, they come back now and now recruit more people out of the block of 8,000. So the offer is still there, and it's a continuous program. We have also...
Sorry, Waziri, over what period of time do you need to fill that quota of 8,000?
They told us within a year. They told us about 2 years. It's about 2 years, because what they're doing, they're opening new farms, new companies in other countries, which will need time. Because initially I wanted them to take everybody at a go. But they said we cannot, because, for example, we want to get people from hospitality, but we are building a mega hotel that will not be ready until the end of 2025. So you can't be going to be a waiter in the parking lot looking at the construction. The hotel has to be finished before now you can be hired, etc. So that's what they told me. They told me we can't hire the drivers now, but the job is there. But once the business is open, so they are thinking ahead of their needs. They are looking at what is our HR needs, what is our labor needs within the next 5 years. So they said, okay, Kenya will satisfy the next 2 years, this quarter, which is a very good quarter, because 2 years goes very fast. Hopefully we'll be able to get all those people over there. Vice Chair, about the communication, there I think we have a lot of room for improvement in terms of really communicating, and I'm going to tweak the regulations so that people are communicated to properly in writing or SMS or traceable, so that the agencies know if there's a delay. Communicate with the people. Bring down the anxiety. Because when you don't bring the anxiety, then it brings to all this drama where people think there's a crisis because people have not really been given the correct information on time by the agencies. Nikimalizia, coming to finish.
Cabinet Secretary, through the Chair. And that communication, the next part of my question was, who will be responsible for that communication? Because they keep complaining, no one talks to us, we're left in the dark for months on end. So who will that fall on?
It will be the agencies who will be giving the communication with monitoring from the National Employment Agency. So that if anybody complains, we find out. So we'll give them, I'll give them clear reporting mechanism. So there's a reporting mechanism that is quantifiable, so that we don't let any cracks fall through. So the clear reporting mechanism, that has been lacking. So when it's lacking, then people don't know. People like be guided, so I'll guide them appropriately. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, and you've had a lot of experience in this industry, whereby you asked about the runaways and some of those issues that we've had. Let me take a opportunity to tell Kenyans. It is quite unfortunate that Kenyans go overseas and some of them come back in coffins. Some of them because of inhuman treatment, maybe even murder. But from what we have found out, and this committee traveled, is that majority of cases are of Kenyans who are not in their original places of employment. A lot of the girls we have seen being brought here, not all, but quite a number, are what are called runaways. Runaways are people who you go to one job and then you quit that job to go and find better job somewhere else, on the street, in other companies and others. The law is very clear in those countries. You are sponsored by your employer. And once you leave your employer, the employer is the one who gives you medical cover. So if you're no longer working there, you don't get medical cover. Some of these countries, the hospitals are all government run. So the only place you can go to hospital is a government hospital. So when you go to a government hospital, everybody is already with a cover. So they ask you, can I see your cover? You don't want to show your previous cover because you broke your visa rules and you'll be deported, so you don't go. So what happens when you do that? It means that now you're going to quacks in the street for various operations and various things. And that's how we are losing quite a number of Kenyans. Because they don't have the cover, they can't go to hospital because they're afraid they go to hospital, they'll be deported because they broke their visa, because they did not stay with their employer or quit properly, because most of them are lied to. I'll tell Kenyan, please, when you go to a country overseas, work for that company. If there's a problem, resign properly. Nobody will hold you, and I've made sure nobody will keep you in a country, in a company where you don't want to work. Resign. Wakikataa, talk to us. We'll go and demand that you come back home. Just resign. Because it's not slave labor. It's willing, you're providing a service, and it's your willingness to provide that service. But if you leave that company to go to the street because of funny dens that you talked about, then it becomes a problem, because now you start playing panya na paka with the authorities over there, and that's how we are finding. A lady called me the other day from Machakos, said, my former governor, my daughter is dead. I said, I'm sorry. Assured me to help bring the daughter back, and said the employer has refused to bring the person back. They want us to changa. So I got on the phone, called the attaché, called the ambassador. Why is the employer refusing? Then they said this girl was not employed. She ran away 6 years ago and has been doing other dubious activities. But to our mother, the mother thought that she was legally employed somewhere. So we have those cases. So, we help the girl come home, but it's not that the employer did not even know that she had died, because the girl ran away, and the police have been looking for her, for all those years. So those are some of the cases that we are dealing with, and trying to organize our Kenyans so that they can also know how to live when they go overseas, the attitudes, how to live in a foreign country, how to adjust to the cultures of those foreign countries. Mr. Chairman, I submit.
Through you, Chair, my questions you didn't respond.
Oh, sorry, sir.
The issue of cancelling of
oh, yes,
sorry. Positive. What you have done to protect Kenyans from the companies that have already been deregistered?
What we have done is that the companies, and we have double-checked, where people go do their medicals, it's a standard form whereby you go, if you're going to do some of these tests, there is a counselor that takes you through before and after you receive your results. And it's one of the questions I ask, because you don't traumatize people. So people have gone and they have been receiving their results, and if it's not the right way, you are cancelled further. And that has been the system that has been going on, because the counseling is usually done by a medical and counseling officer of the lab where they're taking you. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons they are asking for the major labs, because the labs where these people are taken to, majority of them are huge labs with many doctors, many officers who have the certain protocols as set by the government of Kenya, that for some of these tests, you have to do counseling. Anywhere you go, you get the counseling. Number 2, the question again, sir, was?
The companies you have deregistered,
yes.
How do you protect Kenyans so that they don't get conned by the same companies? Have you put any adverts in the papers?
We put an advert of this list of companies, and we can do it again. We put an advert in the newspapers end of last year of these companies. We've added the list, so we will update Kenyans on this list. We'll provide this list to the House. The chair, they decided to share it with the media, so that also we can highlight some of these companies, so that when you see this company, there's a red flag. But also, the NEA website is there, and we also have an 800 number, which is very easy, 0800-222-223. 0800-222-223, where you can report abuse, you can report an agency, you can ask whether this agency is registered, and somebody on that line, it's man 24 hours, will be able to tell you, we've never heard of that agency. Na story naishi hapo. I get people asking me all the time, is this registered? I double check, call this number, they call, they find out, this person offering jobs to Canada, to Austria, is fake, is not registered. And then people know it's a... I just want to tell Kenyans that be very careful who you deal with. Just do due diligence. Make sure that the person who is giving you a job is registered with the Republic of Kenya. When you go meet somebody out there, they give you a job, they con you, then you say you've been conned by agencies of the government. They are not our agencies. Those are con artists who are taking advantage of you. But you see, at times when you are conned and you do not do due diligence, then there's very little we can do to help you. So you also need to do due diligence. Parents, before you give your money to your daughter or son to go pay an agency, do due diligence. Call the number, check with my office, check with NEA, is this person registered? And we'll tell you this person has been blacklisted, this person is not registered, yes, this person is. Because if that person is registered, I know where to find them. Because we have their details, we have their ID numbers, we have vetted them, we know their office, we have their guarantors who've guaranteed, so I can find them. The DCI can find them. But mtu anatokea tu na ka agency kanasema twende ngambo, you know, and recruitment agency. Na unalipa pesa. Simjui huyo mtu. Pengine hata alikuonyesha fake ID. There's no way of me to verify to get that person. And so the people who've been conned are usually people conned by agencies that are not registered. So let the government protect Kenyans, and we are protecting you by providing a good service of registered agencies.
Chair, my third question, kindly had requested. It was not responded to.
Which is?
About Festus.
Pia yangu ya agents.
Yeah, I'm giving
yes.
time
Na pia yangu ya agents.
I'm giving time now to...
Yes, please. Yeah, give him, please.
Waziri, through the chair. Waziri, there was a question that I asked about, you made a comment about repatriation. That if a successful job seeker goes to X country and they find, for whatever reason, what was advertised is not what is on the ground, how are they brought back home? Because you just actually gave an example of a lady from Machakos who requested for your support to bring her daughter home. However, there is the other side of the coin, which is when they go, they don't find what they were told they were going to find. So in that case, who is responsible for repatriating? Because many of the people that Chair has talked about who we went to visit in the safe houses in Saudi Arabia complain. They came, were told, I'm going to be a nurse, but actually there was this other job, and then they were told there's no job for you, or something like that. And then they're stuck in the country. How are they repatriated, and whose responsibility is it?
I think it's very clear that if you go to a country and you've been offered a job as a driver, and you go there and you find your job is to drive a wheelbarrow in a construction site, or else you're supposed to be driving a lorry, then the agency that is took you there has conned you. And you just need to let me know. And I'll make sure that agency brings you back. So there's that case. So it is the responsibility of the agency to provide you, when you leave this country and get into an aircraft to go overseas, you should have an offer letter that tells you what you're going to do. If you get to that country and they switch the offers for you, then that's illegal. Even in those countries, it's illegal. And the governments of that country give you a visa based on the job you're going to do. So switching is not allowed. So that's part of the empowerment we want to empower Kenyans, the recruitment of those agencies. But you see, what is happening is that some of these agencies that do that are not registered with us. So they know they can get away with murder. They just want to collect money and send people. So I urge Kenyans, let's work as a team. And I thank this committee for the support so that we can get Kenyans working with registered people.
Thank you very much, Waziri. So I'll give the opportunity now to the agents that were invited who are here. If you can stand up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nea, I asked a question which wasn't answered. The partnership with Orwoba.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chair, for that question. The role of NEA generally, when we work even with the other members of Parliament, is just to ensure that the agents that they are going to work with are registered with us. In the case when Senator Orwoba approached the authority to assist her with the recruitment in Bobasi, what we offered to her was our officers who are in the ground in Kisii and Kisumu were there just to oversee the recruitment process that was taking place through the agents that are already registered with us. But in essence, we work differently with each member of Parliament. In her case, she was in charge literally of all the exercises. And when my the NEA officers there called me and asked me that they really did not have much work to do, I told them then to make sure that they take the register of those people who are going to be recruited during that drive. So to that extent, that is what our partnership is with Senator and with any other member of Parliament when they request us to assist them.
So I can come in with $1 million pockets to deal with you.
Yes, and we've been doing that with very many other members of Parliament. Yeah, it's just to give them that reassurance, but actually the exercise is normally conducted by the recruitment agencies. Thank you.
Chair, tunataka kusikia kwa agent huyo wa Kisii.
Yeah. Sindia napeana hiyo nafasi. Agent huyo wa naitwa Francis ama Festus.
With your permission, Chair, my name is Brian Haeba, Advocate. I'm here on behalf of all the agents that were invited by the Senate, including Mr. Festus for Global Human Resources Limited. I think by way of introduction, if they can just mention their names and the company they represent. Some are not here, but majority are here with us. Then, of course, we did our response. I will guide us on how to proceed thereafter.
Chair, through you, Chair. Through you, Chair.
Is Festus here?
Yes, I am present.
Yes.
If he is here, Chair, my question was direct to him.
Why do they need lawyers?
Yeah, so...
what have they done wrong?
Festus?
Yes, Chair. I didn't have any prior interaction with the Senator before.
Sorry?
Yes. The question was if I had any engagement with the Senator before. I didn't have any.
Okay, so you didn't
You
have
were not
any...
engaged, sorry, through the chair. Were you engaged to recruit any members on her behalf through your agency?
Yes.
And isn't that dealing?
The question was if I had...
If you had any interaction with her, if you dealt with her in any way in your work as an agency.
Yes, I did on 11th February.
Chair, I want that to be put in record because there has been fake news about me recruiting people. Festus is here. He's one of the agents that were dealing with the people from Bobasi. The other agent is Monisa, that was led by a gentleman. I don't see him here. I guess that's why they sent a lawyer by the name Kaloki. Those two organizations, Monisa and Global Face, are registered, and they are very active even as we speak. And it is through this inquiry of the Senate that those people who had paid $15,000 each have received 10,000 Kenya shillings from the moment I brought a statement at the floor of the House to the moment we brought the other victims here. That is when they started paying 10,000. And there was no official communication to anyone that any amount that was paid was going to be deducted. I believe that is what the Cabinet Secretary is addressing, because they are still looking upon me as their leader who represented them in a government program to get back their remaining 5,000 Kenya shillings.
I would like to respond to that. Senator sent me 38 people to be processed to travel to Dubai. The employer in Dubai, a company called Rich Dubai, did issue documents that were supposed to be filled, which all the candidates did. Around 4th March, she called me and asked me to terminate the entire process. So, and actually sent police to have me arrested. I was arrested and taken to Kabete police station. Out of the 38 candidates, 2 proceeded, and they already completed the process, their visa. So I don't know what happened with the senator, because she's very impatient. That's where the problem is. Very impatient.
Chair, it is not the senator. I am here to represent people who came to my office. It is documented. Let them not make it personal. They should not make it personal, Chair. It is not about the senator.
What was the reason for the 36 declining?
Mm-hmm. She instructed me to stop the process and do immediate refund. I have all that in record.
She said you and with you.
Yes.
Chair.
Only 2 proceeded.
Chair, on record. On record.
Be patient.
Okay.
Hold. Yeah.
Chair, actually the question was mine. Let's hear what Festus has to say.
Yes. So I did process for all these candidates. They were only supposed to go to the embassy of UAE, which only 2 came to Nairobi and went to the embassy. They had their documents attested. The 36, out of intimidation from the senator and a lot of abuses, she pushed me to have a refund. The same 38 candidates went to Kisii, did medical tests, comprehensive medical test in a facility called Silvercare. So the only process that was remaining is to have them attest their documents and travel. And we have it in record. All the other candidates that did the process are now in Dubai. All of them, they traveled. Yes.
Chair, through you, Chair.
So 36 were left because of our
36
withdrawal.
were left because of Senator Gloria. Okay. Yes. And I have all the record, I have abuses, I have a lot of things she sends to me, and a lot of intimidations. Yes.
Okay.
Through you, Chair, it has to go on record, and I have the documentation here. I am not speaking because I wanted to go to Dubai. I did not come to Festus' office because I wanted to go to Dubai. These things landed in my office because people from my constituency came to me seeking for help. Chair, we sat down with the victims here. The Secretariat has collected all the evidence. We've heard from this, Chair, we've heard from these victims. And they themselves, Chair, that is the reason why I said, because they are trying to spin this narrative that I intimidated people to stop. Chair, I demand that this committee, to clear that narrative, call each and every single member, the 38 drivers under this one, and the 38 manual laborers under Festus, and the 57 drivers under Monisa. Let them be given a platform so that you can hear them telling you that they have waited for months from August last year, and eventually they came to me and said they want their money back. As their representative. So, Chair, the narrative that is being spinned, I hear Senator Beth Sengo telling me, stop. No. This is my name on the line, and I will defend my people till the end.
Let me ask you the question.
Chair,
Did they...
inifite ya agent na Gloria, kwa hiyo hakuna pahali cabinet secretary anaingilia basi.
The chair.
That is not true, because no, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, I would like Chair. Festus Omwamba was given to me by the cabinet secretary. Festus Omwamba was given to me through you, Chair. You know, if my name is being mentioned,
we are not in
Chair, Senator Gloria cannot now drag my name in. I asked the question when I was asking the questions to the cabinet secretary. That's when I wanted to hear from Festus. Because his name has been mentioned severally here.
Festus.
Yes,
you have...
And I also asked him to state where he comes from.
Order. Do you have documents to that extent?
Correct, Chair. I have all the documents. Well put, all of them. Yes.
So forward.
Yes,
Table.
I will. I'll provide
Table to the committee, yeah?
Yes, through the Chair, I would like to ask a question.
Yes.
When did Senator Gloria approach me? Can you clarify that? When did you come to know about
Yes,
that?
I will give the exact dates
Yes,
complete
please
with
give.
all the messages. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because
Just mention the date.
Chair, kindly, Chair.
No exchanges.
Chair, I'm going to follow the protocols of the Senate committee.
So you forward
and I'm saying, because they don't, let us not personalize this. Let us bring those victims. And you know, I'm here. The statement was driven by those victims. But I can tell you, Chair, when we conducted the inquiry, the number of Kenyans that came to this Senate in Bunge Towers were not from Bobasi. They were not only from Bobasi.
Bring those documents.
So we are not only dealing with the around 90 people from Bobasi.
Orwoba.
Yes.
Do you hear
I've
me?
I've submitted them.
Yes.
I've submitted
Chair,
them.
vile naweza comment, hii ni kitu tunaweza kusolve. Agent wote wale wako na shinda na Gloria
So,
Chair, do not personalize this, Chair. This is about Kenyans who have been conned.
Order.
It's not about Bobasi constituency.
Control the meeting.
Order.
Chair.
Let them not,
Control the meeting,
I
Chair.
don't know what agenda these ones are running. It's not about me. It's about Kenyans who have been
Kisii
conned.
County and Nyamira County.
Orwoba. I will throw you out.
Chairman, through you. I
Chair,
think,
kindly control the
Hiyo
meeting.
Chair aliona
Yeah,
Senator
we
wa
can
Nyamira
sound
na
like-
Senator wa Kisii na pia Gloria.
Hatuko kwa barasa.
Yes.
I think, we are on media. It's
Yeah.
our honorable house. We don't want to degenerate this exchange. If our sugar levels have dropped, we can adjourn. We can adjourn to do a more decent sitting on another date. But these exchanges are unnecessary.
The other agencies, just say who you are. Just say which company. No talking. Time is over.
Can I speak on all the groups? I'm the chairman of all the recruitees who
Chair, how can that be clarified?
That will take us back.
Yeah. How can that be clarified? Because
just say who you are,
who
which
are
company.
you, but not the chairman of all recruiters.
My name is Ruben Ohome, and I'm from Laikipia, and I was elected by all the groups,
Just
all
company.
the recruitees.
Company, say company.
No, I was recruited too, and they elected me as their chairman. So, can I be given a chance to speak on
Chair, we can't
behalf
verify
of
that.
them? Because I have all the records. Some are in Dubai now. Some are in Europe. What we are doing here, we are doing something very wrong for Kenyans. We should be discussing something else instead of what we are discussing. The world is watching, and everyone is watching. This is very bitter because I think we have been searching for jobs, and I think whatever we are doing in this house, it's not good because we're feeling bad knowing that our CS has been fighting very hard for Kenyans to have jobs abroad. But what you guys are doing here is to derail the process. So it's very bad for us. And we can put videos and see how our brothers in Iraq, our brothers in Dubai, they are celebrating each and every day, and they are pressing the government for them to be given chance to work abroad. So what I'll urge the House, recruitment is not just you go and then you get a job. It is a process, and we have waited. So please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So the other companies, just say who you are.
My name is John Mwangi, Waxter Consult Agency.
My name is Nasra Ibrahim Ibrahim, Director Malo Smart Hires Limited. For the record, I've not been summoned, but I'm here as an interested party. Thank you.
Good. Somebody else?
Good afternoon. My name is Monica Mwema, Director Monisa Company Limited.
Next.
Good afternoon. My name is Francis Ohome. I'm the chairman for all the recruitment agencies in Kenya.
Good afternoon. My name is Cornelius Muli, representing Diaspora Recruitment Agency.
Good afternoon. My name is Festus Omwamba, Director, Global Face Human Resources Limited.
Good afternoon. My name is Maura, Advocate, Festus.
My name is Ibrahim Mohamed Abdi, Director of Shakali Recruitment Agency.
Good evening. My name is Nixon. I'm not an agency, but I'm a candidate and a leader. I'm a leader of the group. Thank you.
Any other?
Yes, Chair. As I mentioned, my name is Brian High, but there are two more entities that are not present today, but I represent them as well. One is Blue Wave International Services Limited, and the second one is Iceberg Business Solutions Limited. I'm there on their behalf as well as the other agencies.
Now, let me finally say this. We will have a time with you agencies next week, Thursday. And we want you all to be here. We are not going to expose anybody to anything. We are just going to have a friendly meeting. We want to know the successes, the good things that you know, which we don't know. The questions of back and forth from an individual or two will not be there. It will just be tell us the successes that we have had. We know that you have created opportunities for our young people in those countries, and we want to hear those stories so that we don't hear the negative only. Because we know that our young people need jobs, which we cannot be able to offer in the country, and therefore you are doing a super job, nice job, and our ministry, led by the CS, is as well doing a very nice job. I have been there myself. I have seen what is going on, and I told the minister then that she was just joking around. She wasn't serious about the safety of Kenyans and the opportunities to be secured for our young people. So if there is a time that I feel that we will succeed as a Ministry of Labour for those opportunities, it is now. And so let's all cooperate together and make sure, Buenos Aires, that there is safety for our young people. And we do that by making sure that there is no Mukora agency anymore. That is the enemy we have, because the people that I found, 400 girls, put in a safe home, went through wrong hands. And therefore, we must make sure that that cannot happen anymore. Not under your watch, not under my watch as chairman. Because, and ask yourself, why this one particular area called Saudi Arabia? It is not happening in France, it is not happening in all the other countries. It is just one particular location. So that story of runaway, how do we cure it? That story of lack of accountability, how do we cure it? We can say that we will scrutinize the agency here, but how about the agency in that particular location? They should be answerable. And our embassy in Saudi Arabia should know where Kenyans are, where each one of them, especially when we know that that is a notorious area. We should just zero in on that so that our people are safe. And we were even asked questions by Saudians. Do you want to say that we love when negative paintings are said on our country over your people? We don't like it. And we can grow tired and say, no more Kenyans. Because we met ministers there, and they told us, be careful how you publish this thing. And the more we agitate about publicity here recklessly, the more doors we will shut for our people. No country is ready to be painted negatively all the time. So we should make the screw very tight on our side so that as our people go, they go in safety and they work in safety and come back in safety. So,
Chair, I can see time is very much gone.
It is, and it is over.
Kindly allow us a minute each senator to make our concluding remarks as you close.
That will take us long.
Chair, we are here, Chair.
The House is...
Have a minute for each senator, Chair. That's why we are committee.
Okay, half a minute.
Chair, yangu ningeomba kwa agents. Tumesikia kama NEA na LEPA sina mambo mengi sana, lakini agenda yao ni kusaidia mwananchi wa Kenya. Ningeomba all agents mjaribu kulainisha kazi ndio tuweze kusaidia vijana wetu juu ya miaka ambayo inakuja. Kwa hiyo ningeomba mwele mlainishe, muangalie list yenu vile iko. Kama kuna mtu ni demokrasia hata kurudishiwa pesa yake, arudishiwe pesa yake. Na ule tumeelewa at the process ni mrefu na iko na miezi mingi. Muweze kurudishia wale wataki na wale wengine wataka waweze kungojea. Hiyo ndio mimi naweza kusema kwa sababu nimeelewa process ni inaenda polepole lakini ni mzuri. Ndio tuweze kuangalia. Kwa sababu nakumbuka miaka iliyopita watu wengi vijana wetu walikuwa na shida.
1 minute.
Kwa hiyo mimi naunga mkono process iendelee. Lakini watu wale wanataka kurudishiwa pesa, warudishiwe pesa yao. Asante.
Siengo.
Chair, I really want to thank the ministry and the recruiting agents. You are doing a good job. The only thing I will ask the ministry is to be very careful which agents are representing the government. We know there is a problem of unemployment in this country. It is very important that we have an alternative source of employment elsewhere. Finally, Chair, I would say to the agents and government officials, if you have any dealing, may it be with Senator Siengo, and it is not working, we are not also angels. Please be on watch out. Thank you.
Shut them out.
Yes. Chair, it's 1 minute like everyone. I want to say that, first of all, I'm very grateful that because of my statement, I've seen a lot of traction. 70 people have gone over the weekend. I believe that that inquiry has woken so many people up, the agents, the government officials, our cabinet secretary. And so I want to continue urging the legislators, do your job, do the oversight, because you can see that it works. And I want to congratulate those agents who are doing the clean job, who are not conning Kenyans, to continue. And for the National Employment Authority, thank you for the partnership, because as much as none of the 90 people from Bubasi have gotten any jobs, I witnessed people at the airport on Saturday, thanks to the inquiry that probed me. So, thank you.
So, Babu?
No, Chair, I think it's been a productive session. We keep learning. I'm sure the minister he will leave here having learned something he may need to improve on. That's what we are here for. It's a discussion to ensure that we put the interest of our people first, and we hope when the agents come next time, it will also be another learning experience. It's not a war, it's an inquiry for the benefit of the people who have elected us to this House, Chair. Thank you.
Si mkutano imekuwa mzuri.
Chair, maybe advise on the time to appear.
Informative.
Which time do we appearing on Thursday?
Okay.
The time to appear on Thursday.
Thank you, Chair and members and everyone in the room. I just wanted to, as well, join my colleagues to say thank you for everyone for coming and being patient until this moment. And just a note to the ministry, this is exactly why it's very important for us to crack down and sit down, rather, and finish the work on the labor migration bill. It's very important. You can see that people are suffering day in, day out, and we don't want to invite you here every other week to answer questions about different agents or different cases. So I think this highlights how important it is for us to complete that process in this House. And also to the Minister, in your first submission, you said you wanted to clear your name and you wanted to clarify some things. And I hope that you have seen that the committee that is attached to your ministry does do exactly, that is our job. I understand you wanted to go through the speaker, maybe you felt one way or the other, but I hope that you have sat here today and seen that we do a thorough job as a committee. And this was exactly the forum for you to air out issues and to clarify things, because we're here to support the work of the ministry as much as possible. I thank you.
And we proudly invite you to attend ascension of a bill. Yes, so we will be there, and we invite you because you are part of us and we are part of the ministry, and also see you on Friday. There is an invite to that extent, so you may make your remarks.
My final remarks is to say thank you very much to the committee, and also to just clarify that I think it's the ethos of public officers to tell the truth and not to have a sense of entitlement. And that is, I think, why people expect us to behave in a certain manner. And that is why I thank the Vice Chair. Yes, this is the right committee, but it's also good to debunk misinformation. And, for example, people are refunded their money way before the questions were asked in the Senate. And as I said, we have evidence. People do not want to think that they're the ones who made people to be refunded their money. And also, the fact that people travel the other day, people travel every day. People are traveling every day. And the group that was traveling the other day, a week before that, there were people traveling, and we can show you. So people travel all the time, and others are traveling. It had nothing to do with the questions being asked. So people shouldn't have a sense of entitlement, thinking that the ones that have caused the process to continue. The inquiry is good, and me, I love this inquiry, because it makes us better. It improves the questions, the thinking through, the partnership, I think is better, but we need to stick to the truth and not be self-involved, and stopping. And you've heard what the agencies have said. People have lost their jobs because of that involvement. Lastly is to say that, just to point out to our young people, I just got a message here. We've gotten an order through the ambassador who is in Russia. We talked with him. He was able to visit companies and visit the country, and they gave some work to an agency in Kenya to provide people to work in a warehouse. Very good money, over 120,000. But when they did their medicals, quite a number of, in Kenya, they flopped because of cannabis, Mira and Bangi. So, but they have agreed to give us a month for people to clean their blood so they can go back and redo the tests. Just to show to Kenyans that what you do with your life has an impact in other countries. And I want to thank the Russian government and the people for giving us, our youth, another chance, these youth, to clear up their blood. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and we'll meet you next time.
Thank you very much. And there being no other business, I declare the meeting adjourned.
You wanted to know the time to appear on Thursday, Chair.
What time?
The agents to appear what time on Thursday?
Utapata habari.
Mpigane na huko nje. Wasituletee mambo ya Kisii hapa.
Cameras, please.